Okay, everyone, you can kind of see that I have my design all traced in there. So the next thing that we're gonna do is reliefing. Reliefing is basically carving out an area so that you make something else pop out. So we're gonna carve out around this succulent that I have going here to make it pop out. And we're even gonna carve out the inside of some of the petals. So you have in your art supplies a loop tool. Yours might be different shape than this. If you happen to have gotten one of the really big ones, show it to me in class and let me know, and I'll see if I can get a smaller one to you. Because to be honest with you, when we put all these art kits together, it was just kind of putting everything really quickly, and I may have accidentally got a big one to somebody. But I think everybody's got a small one. So what you're gonna do is find your smallest side, okay, and it might have a square side. The square side would work for this too. And I'm going to put this tool right on the line, and I am going to relief around, taking off some of that excess clay as I go. Try not to go too close to the edge, because sometimes it will crack and break and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of making a little bit of a border. And then I'm going to go back and I am going to take a little bit more out. And I'm kind of making it go at an angle so it looks really deep right here up against my succulent, and then as it goes out it gets higher and higher, okay? And there's a couple of really great videos that I attached to that will hopefully kind of help you. You can see a more close-up view. Just try not to gouge at it. You know, if you're seeing great big gouges like that, you're probably not doing it right. You're just taking, kind of shearing off the top edge a little at a time. So I'm gonna smear that back in. And once you get a little bit done, I suggest you kind of go back and smooth it out and then go on to the next part. So what I grade you on this is how smooth you get it in the background, that I can see that you reliefed it, and that it's even, so it's not gouged. There's not like areas where you gouge into the clay and areas where it's higher. And I'm pushing pretty hard. I'm kind of trying to level it out in the background. And sometimes you can do that a lot just with kind of pushing it in there. Okay, so I've kind of messed up my edge a little bit. So now I'm gonna go back with my toothpick. And instead of pushing straight up and down, this time I'm gonna push back underneath. So I'm gonna go underneath the edge here. Take a little bit out there, underneath the edge. This is called an undercut, and it just gives your piece a little bit more of a three-dimensional look. Now I'm just kind of taking off some excess clay here. Make sure you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so you can see I went back underneath. Okay, I'm going to do just a little bit more. And then I'm going to show you how to relief inside the petals. Not that you're doing the same thing, but you may have something where you're going to relief into it. Okay, so then I would continue on to my next area. So again, you're kind of making it look like it goes in. So it's going to be relieved deeper up against the edge of your design. And then out here it won't be quite as deep. And then after you've done a little bit, you're gonna go back and kind of smooth it out. Okay, so the next thing is if I look at this picture, it looks like the petals kind of go in. We want to give it that three-dimensional look. So I'm gonna kind of do the same thing to the petals. I'm gonna go around the edge right here. And I'm just gonna blend it out a little bit. do another one right here. And then I'll do one more, and then I'll kind of lift it up so you can see. Okay, I'm going to one more time go under the edge. So I'm going back underneath. Same thing here. Get off that excess clay. And then I'm still gonna need to go back and kind of smooth it out, but I'm gonna hold it up so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so you can kind of see where it looks like the petal goes back in. Okay, so now I'm gonna need to get in here with my finger. And remember, if you feel like you can't get in here really good with your fingers, you can use a paintbrush. You can also use a Q-tip, and I will be showing that in class. So I'm gonna do this to each of the petals. And then if I mess up the outside edge, I may have to go there too. Okay, so your requirements are to do some reliefing and to do some adding on. So next I will show how to add on to these petals to give them even more of a 3D look. Okay.